What's going on, everybody? Tom here with Black Sheep Keto, and welcome to another recipe video just for you subscribers out there. And if you're not a subscriber yet, please consider doing so. Today we're going to be making a delicious keto version of a white chocolate and macadamia nut cookie. Now this has totally just been recently possible by Lily's introducing their white chocolate chips to the market, which wasn't previously available. I made some white chocolate about a year ago, but they weren't chips, which made this a little bit hard. But now that we have those products, it is time to make a keto white chocolate macadamia nut cookie. So if that sounds good to you guys, hang on tight and let's get right into the recipe. Alright everybody, welcome to this recipe for our delicious keto white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Now we're going to start here with our dry ingredients and then we'll move on to the wet. So first of all, we have 1 cup of this finely sifted almond flour, 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is baking powder, not baking soda. I get a lot of comments about people trying to swap them interchangeably. They are not interchangeable in most recipes, and even then the quantities are different, so just make sure you're using baking powder. And then 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt. And all this is going to be going right into this smaller bowl right here. So let's go ahead and get that combined. So we'll start off with our almond flour, the xanthan gum, baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of pink salt. And we're going to go ahead and just whisk this and kind of break up any clumps that may have formed in the almond flour. Despite it being finely sifted from the factory, things can happen in the bag. Cool, that looks pretty good to me. Now I'm going to set this aside and get our wet ingredients ready, and I'll catch up with you guys to go over those. Now I am back, and here are all of our wet ingredients. Let's go through and step through these. So right here we have 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of softened butter. Mine got a little bit melted when I softened it, but no big deal. 1 large egg, 1/4 cup of Lakanto's monk fruit sweetener. This is an erythritol and monk fruit blend. You can really use basically any blend of sweetener you want, or just pure erythritol, but I really do like Lakanto's blend. Right here, I've got 2 tablespoons of a brown erythritol. Swerve makes one, and so does Lakanto. Whichever you choose, just get 2 tablespoons of a brown erythritol and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now all this is just going to be going into a slightly larger bowl, and we're going to give it a mixing. So let's go ahead and get that done. Got our butter going in there, the egg, and then our sweeteners. And lastly, the vanilla. And then we're just gonna grab a whisk and make sure we beat all the clumps out of this. Those brown Lakanto or Brown's erythritol blends tend to clump a little bit, so I like to break those up a little bit first before I start mixing. So that's looking pretty good to me. There's still a couple clumps of the brown erythritol, but it's not the end of the world. Now we're gonna go ahead and slowly add our dry ingredients to our wet. I'd say do it about 1/2 at a time. Now that our cookie dough looks pretty uniform to me, and actually smells fantastic by the way guys, we're gonna go ahead and add in what makes this a white chocolate macadamia nut cookie, and that would be the macadamia nuts and the white chocolate chips. So these are just a 1/4 cup of kind of macadamia nuts, halves and pieces. Chop them yourself, buy them that way, whatever you wanna do. And then the most important thing is these white chocolate chips. Now these are from a company called Lily's. You guys see me use them all the time, and I didn't even know these exist till I was in Whole Foods the other day just wandering around and came across them. So that's definitely what's making this recipe possible. In any case, you want a 1/4 cup or about 50 grams of these Lily's chocolate chips. So we're gonna add these to our dough, mix them in, and then it's gonna be ready to bake. So now that our white chocolate chips and macadamia nuts are mixed fairly well into the dough, it's time to get this stuff on a baking sheet. So you're gonna need a large baking sheet covered in parchment paper or a silicone baking mat, whatever you choose. So let me get that and I'll be right back. Now I'm choosing to use a silicone baking mat just because I tend to not like a lot of cleanup work, and these are definitely easier than kind of scrubbing a pan. So that's what I'll be using today. Now I have preheated my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna go ahead and break this cookie dough into 4 portions. I like a decent sized cookie, but I didn't wanna make too many of them. You know, a dozen larger cookies is a lot, especially if you're in a smaller keto household, and you don't wanna kind of overdo yourself on keto snacks. So I think 4 is a great number. Now, one thing about these cookies is they will not spread out that much once you've started baking them. It's just kind of a side effect of the way some of these keto ingredients work. So we're gonna start by kind of placing them down and then flattening them to a rough cookie shape. I'm not saying they won't spread out at all, but not very much. So get them very close to the final size and thickness that you're aiming for, which for me, it's about 1/2 inch thick. And there we have it, guys. These are our white chocolate macadamia nut cookies that are ready to go into our oven. Again, that was 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and these are gonna bake between 13 and 15 minutes. I'll probably pull mine at 13 minutes because for white chocolate macadamia nut cookies, I like them to be kind of just slightly undercooked, if that makes sense. So we're gonna get these in the oven, and then I will show you guys the finished product on the screen right now before I catch up with you for the taste test. Well, now that you guys have seen the recipe and the finished product, it is time for the taste test. Now right here, I have one of my white chocolate macadamia cookies that is fully cooled. Inevitably, I will get comments from people who did not let them cool. Guys, let them cool. They will be soft, they'll fall apart if you don't. This is just how it is with all keto baked goods. So if it feels soft, let it cool. With that though, let's go ahead and give it a taste. Now these cookies are fantastic. In fact, Olivia actually described them as dangerous, which I think is like kind of the ultimate compliment, because if you think you're gonna eat so many of them that you'll blow your diet, then that means that it's a damn good cookie. Now, I do find one fault with them, and that is that the Lily's chocolate chips, the white chocolate, the ones on the very bottom of the cookie, take on a mild caramelly flavor once they're baked. I'm not really sure why that is, but you know what? It's keto white chocolate, so I'm happy regardless. In any case, the cookie's got a nice crunchiness from the macadamia nuts, a little bit of a sweetness, and the erythritol, even with the chocolate chips, is not overpowering, which I find to be quite great. The cookie holds together well, but it's still nice and chewy. So for me, this is the perfect keto white chocolate macadamia nut cookie. Now, as always, guys, the full written recipe, the macros, links to any of these ingredients, all of that will be down in the description box below. If you like this video, leave it a like. If you have any questions or comments for me, leave them down in the comment section. And if you have not subscribed yet, do me a huge favor, guys. Hit that subscribe button, show some love, and I will see you in the next one.